What's going on? Super pumped to be here. George Sargent, I lead Havas Media Group, comprising Havas Media, Arena Media in Boston, and excited to talk to you. And I'm gonna switch it up a little bit here, and I'm gonna, instead of tackling the big idea, I'm gonna tackle how we get to the big idea. And I think that, before I start, I should talk about Julie and Meredith for a second. I thought long and hard about my own engagement with Waze and with Pinterest, and I've decided that I give Waze 100% credit for the fact that I drive to my mother-in-law's house, countless times over the last 5 years, and I have no idea how to get there. So thank you, Waze, for that. And I'd also like to thank Pinterest. My boards are secret. I only share them with my wife, who still loves me despite the fact that we have utter disagreement in terms of throw pillows. So thank you, Pinterest, for allowing me to keep the boards secret, so you guys don't have to see them. I think that if we take a step back, at the ANA last week, we got our annual reminder, really our everyday reminder, that as an industry, we have gotten more and more and more complex. The unmanageable abyss is Bob's reference to the media supply chain, but I think it applies to our entire industry and how we work. We've gotten more and more complex, more and more disconnected, more and more siloed. Meanwhile, growth, for all you clients in the room and all you agencies, growth is getting harder and harder to come by. Barriers to entry have never been lower. Competition has never been higher. The US market in many categories is quite mature, right? So we're complex and growth is really hard, okay? I think, Havas thinks, and I'm sure you all agree, that what we need to do is we need to reconnect the disconnected. That is the key, okay? And for those brands in the room, we all know that one of the answers to growth and one of the answers to creating differentiation in a very crowded category, whatever category you're in, is in creating a frictionless customer experience underpinned by connected data, by connected insights. We all agree on that. Yet, the agency structures, and frankly, the client structures that we all operate in are not connected, right? And I think that if we take a step back, we need to focus on how we can work versus the work. Clearly, the work is important. We've seen amazing work all day. Absolutely. We should be focused on the end result that the customer sees, the prospect sees, that persuades. But if we take a step back and we focus on how we work, I think that we can create more consistent, more repeatable, great work. Okay? At Havas, we call this the village. Okay, in 50 cities around the globe, in every city that Havas operates in at scale, we've created physical spaces that enable collaboration in a way that brings different skill sets together internally for us and for our clients, connecting creative and media. What a novel concept. In any of the presentations you've seen today from other agencies, from Waze and Pinterest, it's pretty hard. It's getting pretty hard to pull apart the creative piece, the media piece, and the data piece. Yet we still are media agencies and creative agencies and CRM agencies and social agencies, right? So creative and media, obviously a good place to start. Connecting paid, owned, and earned. How many of us talk about paid advertising and we start with a budget, right? That makes absolutely no sense. How about connecting the funnel? How many of us talk about acquisition versus awareness versus consideration? Let's have a conversation where we think about the whole thing holistically. And God save us connecting traditional and digital, okay? And clients are coming to us for this, and I'm going to show you some of the work, but I'm going to focus again on how we work and the way that these different people structures either enable big ideas or obstruct big ideas and how we're getting around that. I'm going to talk first about the National Association of Realtors, the largest trade association in the United States, over 1 million members. The National Association of Realtors, we started with a broadcast buy talking to ABC. And what we ended up with was an amazing creative campaign with Phil Dunphy or Ty Burrell as our spokesperson. And I just want, for those of you in the room who work with agencies, or for those of you in the room who are at agencies, getting a broadcast buyer to talk to a creative team and say, I've got the idea, and you guys are going to go do it. This is still on the air from ABC to across the TV ecosystem to online video, across Twitter, and it's drove amazing results, touching millions of people. One thing that we have to talk about with big ideas is scale. This is a big idea that has touched millions of prospective home buyers, millions of prospective home sellers, and it's been an absolutely huge success, still on the air. Let's talk about Coke. Coke needs to move at the speed of social. Havas's Annex creative agency, if you could call it that, it's young creators creating content for young audiences. We've embedded the Annex within Coke in Atlanta, connecting the agency and the client physically, right? Having your agency sit with you. What a novel concept. Proximity, it turns out, really matters when you're trying to move quickly. And these guys are on, say they're on the 15th floor, they come up with an idea, they shoot the idea, they walk upstairs to the client, the lawyer's right there, they go, hey, can I post this? Yep, we're good, post, bam. And they're doing it over and over again. Supposedly, it's getting hard to figure out who's the client and who's the agency. They all sort of see themselves as one team. Let's talk about Goodyear. Sports rights deals with NASCAR, with college football. They own the Cotton Bowl. Now with the Cavs, they're the jersey sponsor for the Cavs. Connecting sports rights deals, the most famous owned asset in the sky, 3 of them actually, and their paid media budget. When we bring those 3 things together through a holistic communications plan, which is really boring to talk about right now, but really smart, what do they end up with? They end up with a paid media budget that works absolutely to drive owned and shared. And last year, in 2016, we created 440 GRPs that were earned media. And this is not in an ad pod. This is aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, which then translated into a creative campaign called Blimpworthy. And obviously, the consumer attention in game is a lot better than Pod B in the third quarter. Now, most of you may know this, may not know this. Havas is now part of Vivendi. Okay? What is Vivendi? Vivendi is GameLoft. Vivendi is Universal Music Group. 30% market share in the label space, which is back, by the way. Okay? Live events, content. This is about Havas getting ahead of the convergence of content, okay, Vivendi, communications, Havas and our clients, and uniquely distribution. A totally new model, and you are going to see amazing work come out of this. This is some stuff that we did for Proximo, 1800, Tequila Space, but really turning the whole model on its head, connecting a disconnected ecosystem. And we're winning. Almost a year ago, it was announced that we are the 2017 Media Agency of the Year, and we're winning because of this model. Clients are working with us to rent the collaboration that we are living with and struggling with and working with every day. That's it. Thanks.